It looks like we have a quorum. Are we ready to get started?
Yes, we're ready on our end.
Call this meeting to order at 1:34 p.m. First, I'll call order. Commissioner Alexander. Commissioner Brown.
Present.
Commissioner Flick, present. Commissioner Lunn. Commissioner Stieg.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Stewart.
Present.
Commissioner Weidberg. Not yet on. And Commissioner Wittry.
Present.
Thank you. We'll be looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the January 11th meeting. There's a motion.
Stieg moves approval.
Wittry will second.
Thank you. Commissioner Stieg made a motion for approval of minutes, seconded by Commissioner Wittry. If there's no question or issue, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Wittry?
Yes.
Thank you. Meeting minutes are approved. We'll start with the special public hearing rules. The order of business at the hearing shall be as follows: call to order and roll call with recording of members present, approval of minutes, reading of the hearing rules, presentation of dockets, which includes a staff presentation, an applicant presentation, and questions from members. And there'll be a 30-minute recess, followed by the consideration of dockets, which includes public comment, rebuttal by the applicant, questions from members, voting, and adjournment. The order of business for each docket shall be as follows: the presentation by the City Planning Commission staff, presentation by the applicant or their representative. The appellant or applicant may appear on their behalf or be represented by a duly authorized agent. Only one representative may speak on behalf of a request and must pre-register with the staff of the City Planning Commission. Other representatives or speakers may sign up to provide comments during the public comment portion of the meeting. The applicant shall be allowed a maximum of 2 minutes. The members have an opportunity to ask questions of the staff or the applicant. The commission shall take a 30-minute recess to allow for members of the public to comment. Public comment rules: only written public comment will be allowed. Live public comment will not be allowed. No member of the public may submit more than one written comment per agenda item. The time allowed for public comment, the public comment form will be made available at the start of the meeting and will close at the end of the 30-minute recess. Public comments must be submitted electronically on the form provided by the City Planning Commission. Any comment missing this information will not be read aloud. Each submission must contain the commenter's first and last name, the commenter's address, whether the commenter is being paid in connection with his or her comments, and the agenda item. A moderator will read into the record all of the comments pertaining to that item that have been submitted in accordance with these rules. Comments will be read aloud in a normal speaking voice. A moderator will discontinue reading a comment once it exceeds 2 minutes. Following the public comment period, if there's opposition, the authorized representative of the application is allowed a rebuttal not to exceed 2 minutes. Questions from members: following the public comment and rebuttal, the members have an opportunity to ask questions of the staff or the applicant. Voting. Making a motion. The member making a motion shall clearly state their name when making a motion. For example, I, Commissioner Flick, move to approve, deny the request. Seconding a motion, the member seconding the motion shall clearly state their name when seconding the motion. For example, I, Commissioner Flick, second the motion made by Commissioner Flick. The chair will reinstate the motion, confirming who made and who seconded the motion. Voting, the chair will request a verbal vote from each member by roll call. Each member will indicate yay to support, in support of the motion, or nay to vote in opposition. And now we're ready for our presentation of dockets, the first being zoning docket 00122.
Zoning docket 122 is a text amendment to Article 12 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance by Trayton Diggs to allow animal clinics as permitted uses within all HUB 1A historic urban neighborhood business districts. An animal hospital is defined as an establishment for the care and treatment of animals, and where animals may be boarded during their convalescence. An animal hospital may include boarding services as well, but the primary operation of the use is the care and treatment of the diseases and injuries of animals. The staff believes that the inclusion of animal hospitals within HUB 1A districts is appropriate and consistent with the allowance of pet daycare service centers, which are similar in intensity. It would also give neighborhood residents greater accessibility to quality pet care. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this request.
Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yes, I'm present.
Hi, Mr. Diggs. Can you just state your name and address for record, and you'll have 2 minutes?
Yes, my name is Trayton Diggs. The business address is 4701 South Carrollton Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana. My home address is 10301 Patterson Road in Algiers, which is also New Orleans.
Great. And do you have anything to add?
Yes,
I
I
don't think there were
just, honestly, pet care is actually growing across the nation, and I just wanted to provide greater accessibility. We're currently located in Mid-City, and we wanted to stay in Mid-City. We've been in operation since January 2nd of 2013. I've grown the business from essentially 0 clients to more than 5,000 clients. And it's just one of those things where we were looking to expand, and we've actually outgrown the current building that we were in, and the location at 2800 and 2802 Orleans Avenue were was a property that we actually purchased.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission for staff or the applicant? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next zoning docket 00222. Thank you, Mr. Diggs.
Zoning docket 00222 is a request for property at 722 Washington Avenue to rezone the lot, which is developed with a fourplex, from an HURD2 district to an HURM1 district, which would allow multifamily dwelling by right, and would also allow the petition site to be used as a large short-term rental. While we were able to verify that the structure has 4 addresses, and that there is a history of short-term rental licenses at each of the addresses, we have not received a determination of legal non-conforming use as a fourplex yet from the Department of Safety and Permits. Since this is central to the staff's analysis, we are recommending deferral of the request. While our report is asking for deferral to the February 8th CPC meeting, the applicant has agreed to defer an additional 2 weeks, so to the February 24th meeting, to give time to Safety and Permits to give that determination.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sabine. Is there is the applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
She's not going to be here.
Not going to be here. Okay, so we'll just move on to the next zoning docket item. Zoning docket 00322.
Zoning docket 00322 is a request for an affordable housing plan development in an MU2 high-intensity mixed-use district. The applicants propose constructing 2 multifamily dwellings that will each exist on their own lot of record, but will act as a single development with shared ground floor parking. Each building will contain 13 units for a total of 26 units. The applicants are seeking an overall density which is slightly higher than the allowable base zoning district regulations. In order to seek flexibilities from the zoning district standards, 10% of units will need to be reserved as affordable units. The applicants have indicated that at least 1 unit in each of the buildings will be reserved as an affordable unit. However, more units may be. Given the total of 26 units, 3 units must be reserved as affordable units to meet the affordability requirement. The request is compliant with the master plan and the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district regulations, as well as matching the overall development pattern and densities of surrounding development, and therefore staff recommends approval of zoning docket 00322, subject to 11 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or applicant's representative on the call? No. Are there any questions from the commission for staff? Okay, we'll go to the next zoning docket 00422.
This zoning docket is a request by the Fairgrounds Racecourse to amend the provisions of the conditional use ordinances that apply to that facility. The Fairgrounds, as we all know, is a large, historic, over a century-old racecourse that is located in Esplanade Ridge. While it's existed since the 19th century, it is currently governed by a series of conditional use ordinances going back to the 1980s that restrict its operation, restrict its development. And one of these ordinances, which is from 2005, includes the provision that the only wagering that may occur at the fairgrounds is wagering on horse races. Since then, more recently, and during the 2020 elections, Orleans Parish voters voted to allow sports wagering in this parish. And so the fairgrounds, following up on that, is seeking to allow or to enable sports wagering at their facility. Specifically, they are proposing to use an approximately 1,500 square foot space within the main building for sports wagering. Because the old ordinance from 2005 restricts wagering only to horse races, the applicant is requesting that effectively that restriction be removed by including new language that does explicitly allow for sports wagering. To the staff, the central question here is there a meaningful land use difference between sports wagering and horse race wagering, such that the change may have a impact in terms of activity, noise, traffic, the like, on surrounding properties? And the short of it is that there's no real meaningful difference between the activities. And so allowing sports wagering at the fairgrounds will not increase the intensity of that operation, will not have negative impacts upon surrounding properties. And so given all of that, the Planning Commission staff is recommending approval of the application.
Thank you, Stephen. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yeah, Stephen Scullin here. I'm with Carver Darden Law Firm. We represent Churchill and the fairgrounds.
Could you just state your name, your address, please?
Oh, sure. My office address is 1100 Poydras, Suite 3100. And then the property address is 1751 Gentilly Boulevard. Thank you, Mr. Kroll, for that was a good summary of what our request is. And like you said, we're basically requesting to amend the existing conditional use permits to permit sports wagering in compliance with the Louisiana legislature acts that they passed earlier last year, and then was subsequently approved by the Orleans Parish voters. One thing I'd like to add is, in addition to doing the NPP process and going through that and notifying the neighborhood, Mr. Doug Shipley, who's the president of the fairgrounds, has met with all the neighboring neighborhood organizations and talked to them, answered questions, and they've given their approval. We've gotten the approval from Fairgrounds Neighborhood Association, the Say Area Neighborhood Association, and the Faubourg St. John Neighborhood Association. And we didn't get that approval until after we submitted the application. So I don't think that was included with the application, but we're happy to submit those to you at a later time. And then, like you said, as far as the facility, the sports wagering lounge is going to be inside the main building. There's going to be no renovations to the exterior or additions. There'll just be remodeling a room that's already existing there, about 1,500 square feet, to put the sports wagering equipment and, kind of make it a lounge for people to go in and watch sporting events. We're happy to answer any questions, but appreciate your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the commission for staff or the applicant?
This is Commissioner Witry. I would like to be able to have the neighborhood association's letter of support. I'm not certain if we have to suspend the rules and have that emailed in. Stephen, did you receive that? I wasn't certain if maybe it was in the packet or not, but I definitely think that that should be a part of what we reviewed today.
Yeah, so I have it. It was received after the comment deadline for this meeting, so wasn't able to get it to you. But I will forward it to you, and we'll post it on our website for public consumption. And by the time you vote on this after the break, you have a chance to look at it.
Okay, so we
Thank
don't need
you.
to suspend the rules or anything, Missy. No.
Well, wait, Stephen, it was received after the deadline?
Yeah, so rules would need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so we need to suspend the rule.
Okay. So Commissioner Witry, could you make a motion to suspend the rules?
Yes,
To obtain the
yes, I can.
documents. Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules so that the commission and the public could actually see the letters of support from the two neighborhoods that are surrounding the fairgrounds.
Steve seconds.
Thank you. Can we just do a hand vote, Missy, or do we have to? A hand vote?
That's fine.
Okay. So all okay with receiving documents? Commissioner Sieg. Thank you. Okay, are there any?
The wrong screen.
Do you? Are there any other comments or questions for either the staff or the applicant for this? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the zoning docket, subdivision docket 17021.
Good afternoon. Subdivision docket 170-21 is a request by Walker Clifford Russell to re-subdivide existing lots 8 and lot 14 into proposed lots 8A in an HURD2 historic urban 2-family residential district. The reason the applicant has stated it for the subdivision is to permit the property owner to use the entire property as a primary residence. Each of the 2 existing lots is developed with a residential structure, and the owner already uses both structures as a single residence compound. The subdivision would therefore allow the applicant to combine the 2 lots to be able to build a covered and enclosed lot walkway linking both structures and making it in effect one structure. The resulting lot would be a double frontage interior lot with 36.5 feet of frontage along Amelia Street, 33.25 feet along Antoine Street, measure approximately 190 feet and 10 inches in depth, and 6,500 square feet in lot area. The proposed subdivision requires commission action for the following reason: in that accordance with Article 3, doubtful cases must be referred to the commission. In this case, the subdivision is doubtful for 2 reasons. The first is because the subdivision would initially appear to result in 2 principal structures on 1 lot, which per Article 21, Section 21.4A, is not allowed in an HURD2 district and thus requires commission review. And the second is because the proposed re-subdivision results in a double frontage interior lot, which triggers the City Planning Commission review in accordance with Section 5.5.5 double frontage lots of the subdivision regulations. Therefore, the subdivision docket is being reviewed, and we as staff have determined that although the city's subdivision regulations hold that double frontage lots shall be avoided, in this instance, the proposed subdivision lot can be considered approvable due to the streetscape being preserved, due to the maintenance of each structure fronting on each of the aforementioned streets, which is common in the East Riverside neighborhood, thus resulting in the proposal meeting criterion 2. And additionally, proposed lot A meets all or maintains its inherent rights of the comprehensive zoning ordinance, and the proposed non-compliant number of principal structures on a single lot in an HRD2 district is to be resolved through the applicant's plan to connect the 2 structures, combining them into a single structure. The structures would need to be combined prior to the final approval of the subdivision or obtain a variance from the Board of Zoning Adjustments. Lastly, the proposed re-subdivision doesn't interfere or meets the goals of and range of uses of the plan for the 21st century residential low-density pre-war future land use designation. For these reasons, the staff recommends tentative approval of subdivision docket 170-21. with final approval subject to 4 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yes, that would be me, Russ Walker, 1023 Amelia Street. I thought the staff report was very thorough and good and captured what we're trying to accomplish. I'll just reiterate a couple of points. We bought 1023 Amelia in 2004 and moved in. We bought 1022 Antonine Street in 2008, did a structural renovation. We combined the backyard. So we've been living with that as sort of our single residence the entire time. Our daughters kind of grew up in the backyard. And as we've been sitting back there over time, we've talked about connecting the two houses, just a conditioned walkway and connecting the, enclosing the exterior staircase in the 1022 Antonine side. We've been talking about this for years. This is not some sort of quick, tricky scheme to flip a property. We plan on living here for the rest of our lives. So this is, we've dreamed about this for years, and we're finally getting started on it. But in order to get the permit from Safety and Permits, because we're HURD2 and rear offsets are, when we're with 2 lots, your required rear offset is 15 feet. And so, it's sort of a chicken or the egg thing. I want to make the point, I'm a historic renovation contractor. This is the kind of stuff that I do for, for real. And it's important to us to preserve the streetscapes so that on 1023 Amelia, it will continue to read as a single family house, which I suppose it will be. On 1022 Antonine, our addition will be set back from the front facade and will match in materials and details. And, we'll certainly work with HDLC on that and make sure that that's all appropriate. But so on both sides, it will continue to read as a single family house. It'll just be a single family house with 2 facades, 2 frontages. I thought the staff report was very thorough and good. They recommended 4 provisos and have absolutely no problem with any of them. And that's, so we're happy with the report and, hope that you approve it.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant or of staff? Hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Walker. Subdivision Docket 17121.
Subdivision Docket 17121 is a request by Odyssey House, Louisiana, to re-subdivide lots O and 15A into lot O1. The municipal addresses are 1125 North Tonti Street and 2427 Ursulines Avenue. The proposed subdivision would consolidate 2 lots in the Tremaine neighborhood located in an HURD2 historic urban 2-family residential district. Existing Lot O is developed with several structures owned by Odyssey House, a residential care facility. In 2020, Odyssey House acquired existing Lot 15A, a vacant lot that fronts Ursulines Avenue. The proposal to consolidate Lot 15A and Lot O into Lot O1 will allow the development to accommodate additional on-site off-street parking. The consolidation of lots is in line with Odyssey House's master plan and addresses neighborhood concerns regarding on-street parking. The proposed lot, Lot O1, requires City Planning Commission review for 2 reasons. First, it would create an irregular T-shaped lot, and second, it would create a lot with multiple street frontages. Generally, the subdivision regulations and comprehensive zoning ordinance support lots having rectangular shapes and include regulations based on rectangular lots. In most cases, subdivisions that create minor L or T shapes, that is where the dog leg of the L or T shape is 15% or less of the remainder of the lot, will be acceptable to the staff. In this case, existing lot 15A, or the T portion of the proposed new lot, is 4,501 square feet in area, and existing lot O is 34,883 square feet in area. Therefore, the new T-shaped lot has a dogleg that is approximately 12.9% of the remainder of the lot, meeting the 15% threshold. In regard to the multiple street frontage created by the proposed lot, Section 5.5.5 of the subdivision regulations states that in general, the City Planning Commission should look with disfavor upon these types of proposals. However, the subdivision regulations do include exemptions under which such lot conditions may be approved. The staff found that it is common in the neighborhood for existing institutional uses, multifamily developments, or campus developments to be developed upon larger singular lots with multiple street frontages. The proposed re-subdivision would not create a substantial deviation in the lot pattern of the neighborhood, where it is common for campus developments to be situated on a larger consolidated lot. Furthermore, the consolidation of lots facilitates the permitting process if the owner of the development were to renovate existing buildings at the site, build accessory structures, or provide future accessory parking. It is easier to interpret and comply with applicable codes if a campus is on one lot of record as opposed to several. Because the proposal meets a 15% threshold for T-shaped lots, and the staff found the proposal would not create a substantial deviation in the lot pattern in the neighborhood, the staff recommends tentative approval subject to 3 provisos.
Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call? Are there any questions of the commission for staff?
Sorry, I think I was muted.
Oh, you were.
Okay.
Hello. Could you just state your name and address?
Sure. My name's Anna Labadie, and I'm with Gulf Coast Housing Partnership, and we are Odyssey House, Louisiana's development partner. 1626 Rebecca Castle Haley Boulevard is our office address. So we've been working with Odyssey House since about 2015 on the plan to redevelop this campus into where Odyssey House has been located since 1973 as a residential care facility. They have 8 historic buildings on this half city block campus. And as the staff report mentioned, we did an initial re-subdivision into Lot O a couple years ago. And then since then, Odyssey House actually acquired this Lot 15A from Hano, which is a vacant lot. Odyssey House retains a very good relationship with the neighbors, which it's a residential Treme neighborhood. And the neighbors' only concern is always parking. So when we embarked on the master planning in 2016, a major concern and consideration was to provide ample on-site parking, off-street parking for Odyssey House's staff on the campus, and to meet those or to answer the neighborhood concerns. And so by acquiring this additional lot, they will be able to provide additional off-street parking as part of the campus.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant or of staff? No? Okay, we'll move on. Zoning subdivision docket 17221. Thank you.
Subdivision docket 17221 is a request to re-subdivide lots 5, 6, and 7 into lots 5A and 5 and 6A in an SRD suburban 2-family residential district. The proposed subdivision would reconfigure the 3 existing lots into 2 new lots of records. The resulting proposed lots will each feature widths of 37.5 feet. However, the bulk and yard regulations at CZO Article 13, Section 13.3A1 require that residential properties located in the SRD zoning district feature a minimum lot width of 40 feet. The creation of deficient lots triggers City Planning Commission review in accordance with Section 322 of the subdivision regulations, which sets forth the review criteria for a proposed lot that does not meet all the requirements of the subdivision regulations. The proposed set 37.5 foot wide lots do not conform to those requirements at Section 511 because the deficient widths do not comply with the applicable CZO bulk and yard regulations for the SRD zoning district. While 37.5 foot wide lots could be considered an improvement over the original plat where the lots featured 25 foot widths, It's nonetheless substandard in the SRD zoning district. Therefore, prior to approval, the applicant would be required to obtain variances from the Board of Zoning Adjustments to permit the creation of proposed lots 5A and 6A with insufficient lot width. And by the way, this proposal is consistent with the master plan. So staff recommends tentative approval of subdivision docket 17221, subject to 4 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yes, Ronnie Robbins, 3122 Hamilton Street, New Orleans, Louisiana. I don't have anything to present, no comments, but available to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions of staff or the applicant? Okay, no, we'll move on to reconsideration of subdivision docket 13720.
Subdivision docket 13720 is a request to re-subdivide lot D3 and lot 4 into lot D3A and lot 4A at 721 and 729 Governor Nichols Street in the BCR1 Bucure Residential District. The commission previously heard this request at its January 26, 2021 meeting and granted approval. This subdivision is now under review as reconsideration in accordance with 3.2.6 Policy F, reconsideration of the subdivision regulations due to a lot line shift necessitated by a review comment from the Department of Safety and Permits. In order to avoid the requirement to fire rate, the applicant revised the plat such that a portion of the common lot line, which runs more or less perpendicularly to Governor Nichols Street, has been relocated by 1.396 feet. In doing so, proposed lot 4A has increased to 1,916.18 square feet, while proposed lot D3A has decreased to 14,099.56 square feet. This request for reconsideration is timely and meets more than one of the 3 criteria for reconsideration. This request for reconsideration meets criteria A. Circumstances and conditions have substantially changed since the commission's original consideration. And C, additional information is available which justifies re-examination. The shifting of the lot line in response to a recently received safety and permits comment constitutes both changed conditions, the shifted lot line, and additional information, the safety and permits comment. The staff therefore recommends tentative approval of the reconsideration of subdivision docket 13720, subject to 4 provisos. This recommendation includes 1 additional proviso from the original approval to ensure compliance with open space ratio requirements.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yep, Stephen Scullin again, 1100 Poydras, Suite 3100. I don't have anything additional to add to the staff's comments. We're just asking for reconsideration after we shifted the lot line over to accommodate the 3-foot setback requirement. But happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff or the applicant? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the street name change 00122.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Street name change 122 is a request received late last year from Councilmember Jared Brissett on behalf of the Johnny Jackson Jr. Foundation. The proposal is to rename approximately 1.2 miles of Louisa Street between Almonastra Avenue and Florida Avenue, blocks 2700 to 4000 as Johnny Jackson Jr. Avenue. The name change would affect about 191 lots of record along Louisa Street. Johnny Jackson Jr. was a New Orleans City Council member, Louisiana State Representative, and Executive Director of the Desire Community Center. He was a founding member of the state's Legislative Black Caucus and an early supporter of LGBT equality. The staff recommends modified approval of street name change 122 to rename Louisa Street from Florida Avenue to Chef Menteur as Johnny Jackson Jr. Boulevard. Approval of the street name change as recommended by staff requires a waiver of criteria numbers 1 and 5. The Department of Communications, Orleans Parish Communications and 911 Center thought it was very important to use the suffix boulevard instead of avenue in this case, because we do have a Jackson Avenue uptown. Also, for technical reasons, it is also recommended that the name change extend all the way to Chefman Tour to avoid fragmentation of Louisa Street. Louisa Street runs all the way from the river up to Chefman Tour currently, so this would prevent it from being in two fragments. So again, staff recommends modified approval.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf?
We should have a family member on.
Yes, my name is Era Jean Jackson, 3771 Metropolitan Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70126. Most call me Jean, so feel free to do so.
Thank you, Ms. Jean. Do you have anything that you want to say?
Well, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank in advance the New Orleans City Council, the New Orleans City Planning Commission, residents of the Desire Florida area, and all the powers that be for this amazing gesture bestowed upon the life of my husband, Johnny. Don't know if you guys are aware, but yesterday was the anniversary date of his homegoing to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Again, on behalf of myself, our children, the entire Jackson family, thank you for this amazing honor in advance.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Jean. Is there, does anyone have any questions or comments for Ms. Jean or in regards to the staff for staff?
No.
Okay.
Do I have
Thank you.
No, I don't.
Thank you, Ms. Jean.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there, the next order of business looks like a list of zoning dockets for deferral, but I think we can just review that after the public comments.
Yes, we'll make that motion for those after.
Great, thank you. I don't know why I can't remember that. Okay, so now we'll be setting up for recess. I'm looking for a motion for a 30-minute recess for public comment, and then we'll adjourn and finish up with review comments.
I'm happy to make a motion to go ahead and do a 30-minute recess to 2:43 in the afternoon.
Excuse me, this is Haley. We have one more item on the agenda at the end. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's zoning docket 10821.
I'll remove my motion.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, of course.
So this is zoning docket 10821, and we are again recommending deferral. This is an applicant seeking to add a sign with excessive size for a fast food restaurant, Chick-fil-A, that will be located within an existing 6-story structure at Loyola and Poitras. The fast food restaurant is in the pre-construction phase and was entitled through conditional use approval last year. So the request is to consider a variance for signage that was previously denied. The applicant provided additional information on January 15th that the executive director of city planning is in the process of determining if this application is valid. Therefore, the staff recommends deferring this case until the February 8th City Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm guessing that was just out of order on the agenda.
It was all the way at the end.
Yeah,
after
it was
deferral
in the
list.
last
Yeah.
meeting's agenda and it got deferred.
So it will be deferred again. Do we have to have applicant presentation?
Are they here?
Avery with Sherman Strategies has been representing them. I'm not sure if she's on the line.
I don't see anybody from them, but
Okay. Well, I think we can move on to recess if there's no comments regarding that particular zoning docket.
I'll make a motion for a 30-minute recess to 2:45.
Second by Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you. Commissioner Witcher made a motion for a recess adjournment until 2:45, seconded by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor? Can we hand it? Yes, all in favor. Great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well,
this one's in question.
thank you. Okay, we'll see you all at 2:45. Okay, I think we'll get started. We received comments. Stephen, are we good to go?
I just sent them to Larry and Paul, so they may need a moment to send them.
All right, I think I'm ready.
Great. Okay, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Alexander. Commissioner Brown.
I'm here.
Thank you. Commissioner Flick. Yes. Commissioner Stieg.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Stewart.
Yes, I'm present.
Thank you. Commissioner Weidberg.
Present.
And Commissioner Witry.
I think she's rejoining right at the moment.
Okay. We can get started, I think. There's a quorum. With zoning docket 00122.
Right, we have one comment from Chris Calatry, 4401 Wellington Drive, New Orleans. In support, my dog has been taken care of by Dr. Diggs for over 3 years. He is a wonderful veterinarian and his business would be a welcome addition to any neighborhood to which he would like to move. And that's the last comment.
Great. Thank you. So we'd be looking for a motion. This is recommendation is for approval.
I'll move for approval on behalf of not only the applicant, but my planning assistant, a dog who's with me at all these meetings. Who needed a plug. I've just been waiting for an opportunity to give Simon Stieg his due.
And then
Witry will second. And Commissioner Witry is present. I think I missed the roll call.
I got you. Thank you. So both Commissioner Stiegs made a motion for approval of zoning docket 00122, seconded by Commissioner Witry. Is there any discussion? And hearing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg?
Yes, but not for Simon the dog.
And Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Best of luck to you, Mr. Diggs. Moving on to the zoning docket 00222.
We don't have any public comments for that one.
All right, and this was set for deferral to the February 24th meeting. So we're looking for a motion.
Motion to defer.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, whoever.
So Commissioner Weidberg made a motion for deferral for zoning docket 00222 to the February 24th meeting, seconded by Commissioner Weidberg. If there's no discussion, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next is zoning docket 00322.
No public comments.
Okay, this zoning docket was set for approval with 11 provisos. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve zoning docket 003-22 approval with 11 provisos.
Second.
Commissioner Witry. Commissioner Weidberg seconded. Commissioner Witry made a motion for approval of zoning docket 00322, seconded by Commissioner Weidberg. If there are no comments, For discussion, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleck, yes. Commissioner Stieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Wintry.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next is zoning docket 00422.
All right, we have a number of comments for this one. First comment is from Walter S. Cook, 8740 Curran Boulevard, writes in support, but doesn't give any additional comments. Next from Almona Amos, 1811 River Tree Court, New Orleans, in support. The Fairgrounds has offered horse racing in New Orleans for over 150 years and is proud of its history here. It has been a good community partner and is deeply included in our local community. They support the Susan G. Komen events, WYES, Friends of Nord, and community beautification projects in nearby neighborhoods. My name is Almina Amos, and I live at 1811 River Tree Court in New Orleans. I'm a cage supervisor at the Fairgrounds and have worked here for 2 years. I know how much New Orleans means to the Fairgrounds and how the Fairgrounds support New Orleans and its neighborhood. Your approval is of the going request before you will also increase jobs at the Fairgrounds, and that is something our community needs. Next from Leslie Clark, 5712 Whitfield Drive, in support. My name is Leslie Clark and I live at 5712 Whitfield Drive in New Orleans. I work at the Fairgrounds as an OTB operations manager. I am asking for your support and approval of sports wagering at Fairgrounds. The Fairgrounds has been and continues to be an important part of New Orleans. Fairgrounds employs over 700 people and over 1,000 people during racing season. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for 12 years. Fairgrounds offers competitive pay and great benefits. Working at the Fairgrounds has given me the opportunity to enhance the quality of life for my family. I am offering my support and ask yours as well. Next from Kira Montgomery, 4228 North Claiborne Avenue, New Orleans, in support. My name is Kira Montgomery and I live at 4228 North Claiborne Avenue in New Orleans, and I work at the Fairgrounds as a money room banker cage cashier. I'm asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application. Fairgrounds has been and continues to be an important part of New Orleans and employs over 700 people and over 1,000 people during racing season. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for 6 months and they offer competitive pay and benefits. Working at the Fairgrounds has allowed me to enhance the quality of life for my family, and I'm offering my support and asking for yours as well. Next from Sandra Hogan Jones, 141 East Greenbrier Drive, New Orleans, in support. My name is Sandra Hogan Jones and I live at 141 East Greenbrier Drive in New Orleans, 70128 in Eastover Subdivision. I work at the Fairgrounds as Director of Human Resources. I am asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application. The Fairgrounds has been and continues to be an important part of New Orleans and employs over 700 people and over 1,000 during race season. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for a few months and they are a wonderful organization with competitive pay and benefits. Working at the Fairgrounds has given me the opportunity to live and work in New Orleans area, and I fully support the zoning request. I am asking for your support as well. Next from Jamie Garrett, 330 Julia Street, Unit 301, New Orleans, in support. My name is Jamie Garrett and I am a current employee of the Fairgrounds. The Fairgrounds has been a part of New Orleans for over 150 years, and I'm so honored to be part of this milestone anniversary. We support a number of local charities and employ a very diverse workforce. I know how much the Fairgrounds means to the community, and I want to pledge my support to approving this initiative to keep the Fairgrounds as the locals' favorite place to play. Your approval of the zoning request before you will increase jobs at the Fairgrounds and keep businesses from leaving the parish. Thank you. Next from Mariah Grant, 217 Warrington Drive, in support. The Fairgrounds has offered horse racing in New Orleans for over 150 years and is proud of its history here. It has been a good community partner and is deeply involved in our local community. They support the Susan G. Komen events, WYES, Friends of Nord, and community beautification projects in nearby neighborhoods. I'm a marketing manager at the Fairgrounds and have worked here for 3 years. I live in New Orleans at 217 Warrington Drive, and I know how much New Orleans means to the Fairgrounds and how the Fairgrounds supports New Orleans and its neighborhoods. Your approval of the zoning request before you will also increase jobs at the Fairgrounds, and that is something our community needs. Thank you. Next from Sandra Jackson, 2229 General Taylor in support. My name is Sandra Jackson, and I have been working at the Fairgrounds for 14 years. I currently live at 2229 General Taylor. I was born and raised in New Orleans. I am proud to call it home. I support the zoning request, and I am writing today to ask you to support your support of the pending zoning application. The residents of the city need more business and job opportunities, and I believe that the approval of this zoning request will benefit the city. If approved, the Fairgrounds will be able to increase employment opportunities, which would then generate local revenue. I can proudly say that the Fairgrounds employs over 700 people, and during racing season, we employ over 1,000 people. The Fairgrounds offers competitive pay and benefits. The Fairgrounds also cares for the city like I do. They support the Friends of Nord and community beautification projects in nearby neighborhoods. Please support the Fairgrounds and the zoning application. Thank you. Next, from Makisha Dyson, 7040 Barnberry Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Makisha Dyson. My address is 7040 Banbury Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. I work at the Fairgrounds in New Orleans as an internal auditor. I've worked at the Fairgrounds for 5 years. I know how much New Orleans means to the Fairgrounds and how the Fairgrounds support New Orleans and our neighborhoods. I'm offering my support, and I'm asking for yours as well for the pending zoning application. Your approval of the zoning request will increase jobs at the Fairgrounds, and that is something our community needs to help the residents of New Orleans. Thank you for your support of the Fairgrounds and the zoning request. Next, from Kershon Simeon, 1510 Numa Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Kershon Simeon, and I live at 1510 Numa Street, New Orleans, and I work at the Fairgrounds as a money room banker. I am asking for your support and approval of the conditional use application. The Fairgrounds has been around and continues to be an important part of New Orleans and employs over 700 people and over 1,000 people during racing season. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for almost 6 months, and they offer competitive pay and benefits. Working at the Fairgrounds has given me the opportunity to enhance the quality of life for my family, and I am offering my support and asking for yours as well. Next, from Monica Jones, 1469 Sears Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Monica Jones, and I live at 1469 Sears Street in New Orleans, and I work at the Fairgrounds as an off-track betting manager. I'm asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application. The Fairgrounds has been and continues to be an important part of New Orleans and employs over hundreds of people and even more during racing season. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for almost 20 years, and they offer competitive pay and benefits. Working at the Fairgrounds has given me the opportunity to enhance the quality of life for my family, and I am offering my support and ask for yours as well. Next, from Broyel Burris, 823 Adele Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Broyel Burris, and I live at 823 Adele Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I work at the Fairgrounds. I am asking for your support of the pending zoning application. I understand the needs of our local community because I am part of it. I live and work in New Orleans, and I'm proud to call it home. I know that New Orleans has challenges that need to be addressed, and creating an environment for business investment and growth should be one of them. Economic investment in New Orleans is a tool for increasing employment opportunities and generating increased local revenue. The Fairgrounds contributes a significant amount of local taxes to New Orleans, and in addition, funds up to $2 million annually to New Orleans City Park, up to $100,000 to New Orleans Urban Tourism and Hospitality Training Fund, and up to $100,000 for beautification projects for New Orleans neighborhoods. Fun and Friends of Nords, their presence has had a positive effect on New Orleans community. New Orleans is my home. It is where I live and work, and I support the zoning request, and I ask for your support as well. Next, from Ariel Norman, 3920 Jennifer Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Ariel Norman, and I live at 3920 Jennifer Street, New Orleans. I am a proud employee of the Fairgrounds in New Orleans, and I am proud to call New Orleans home. I have worked at the Fairgrounds for 3 years. I am asking for your support for the pending zoning application. I understand the needs of our local community because I am part of it. I know that the city of New Orleans has challenges that need to be addressed, and creating an environment for business investment and growth should be one of them. The Fairgrounds contributes a significant amount of local taxes to New Orleans, and they are deeply involved in our community. They support many projects like the Susan G. Komen and Friends of Nord community projects. They fund all up to $2 million annually to New Orleans City Park. The Fairgrounds presence has had a positive effect on New Orleans and the community. New Orleans is my home. It is where I live and work, and I support the zoning request, and I ask for your support as well. Next, from Sandra Hamilton, 1340 Audrey Street, New Orleans, in support. My name is Sandra Hamilton. I live at 1314 Audrey Street, New Orleans. I am currently employed at the Fairgrounds as an auditor. I am writing today to ask your support and approval of the conditional use application. I have been an employee at the Fairgrounds for 4 years, and I know how much the Fairgrounds supports the city of New Orleans. They support City Park, the New Orleans Urban Tourism and Hospitality Training Fund, and WYES, and have had a positive effect on the city. The Fairgrounds also offers great employment opportunities, and they has given me the tools to enhance the quality of life for my family and I. The city of New Orleans is my home, and I believe the approval of this application will benefit the city as well as the residents. Next, from Almona Amos, but I believe we've had that comment already. Chris Calitri, I think we had a comment from him already as well. So I'll go next to Chandra Robin, 6911 Yorktown Drive, New Orleans, in support. My name is Chandra Robin. I am employed at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. The Fairgrounds has offered horse racing in New Orleans for over 150 years and is proud of its history here. It has been a good community partner and is deeply involved in all of our local community. They support the community initiatives and beautification projects in nearby neighborhoods. I am an assistant off-track betting manager at the Fairgrounds and I've worked here for 2 years. I live in New Orleans at 6911 Yorktown Drive in New Orleans East. I know how much New Orleans means to the Fairgrounds and how the Fairgrounds supports New Orleans and its neighborhoods. Your approval of the zoning request before you will also increase jobs at the Fairgrounds. Next, from Jason Boulay, 930 Poydras Street, apartment 1117, in support. Good afternoon, my name is Jason Boulay and I live at New Orleans at 930 Poydras Street. I am the director of racing at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots, and I have worked for the company for over 15 years. My family and I have actually had ties to the Fairgrounds Racecourse since the 1950s. I am asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application. The Fairgrounds is an integral part of the city of New Orleans and has been for 150 years. Fairgrounds has stood strong since 1872, and it is an essential part of the community. The conditional use permit would allow the Fairgrounds to increase employment opportunities for our current team members and allow us to bring in new team members. It would allow our business to change, to grow while generating increased local revenue for the community. The Fairgrounds continuously shows support for the community, from generating local taxes to assist in supporting City Park, to supporting the Feed the First campaign during Mardi Gras, and being a constant partner to Covenant House on North Rampart. The conditional use permit would allow the Fairgrounds to continue this and allow us to grow in our efforts. Next, from Virgil Duplessis, 130 West Greenbrier Drive, New Orleans, in support. I am asking for your support of this pending zoning application. I have been working at the Fairgrounds for over 15 years. They offer competitive pay and benefits and is a wonderful company to work for. I also understand the needs of our local community because I am part of it. I know that New Orleans has challenges that need to be addressed, and creating an environment for business investment and growth should be one of them. New Orleans is my home. It's where I live and work, and I support the zoning request and ask you to support it as well. Next, from Pedro Zavala, 3100 Belfort Avenue, New Orleans. Good afternoon. My name is Pedro Zavala, and I am the track superintendent at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. I live on 3100 Belfort Avenue, New Orleans, which actually borders the Fairgrounds property. I have personally seen and felt how seriously the Fairgrounds takes its role as a community leader, but also as a member of the community itself. After Hurricane Ida, the Fairgrounds staff was on back right away, clearing all the debris around the property itself, but also along the streets and helping the surrounding neighbors. Everyone in New Orleans and the surrounding parishes felt the destruction of Ida in some way or another, and the Fairgrounds proved itself once again to be a good neighbor, hosting water giveaways and always asking, how can we help? This conditional use permit will allow the Fairgrounds to be even more present in the community, and because of their continued community efforts for not only the past few months, but the past 10 plus years, I'm asking for your support of the pending zoning application. Next, from Nicole Haynes, 5101 Cannes Street, in support. Let's see a comment says that she is Chandra Robin. So we'll just register her as being in support and move on to the next one. Next from Scott L. Jones, 2700 Dauphine Street, in support. Good afternoon, my name is Scott Jones and I live at 2700 Dauphine Street in New Orleans. I am the racing secretary at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. I am asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application. The Fairgrounds has had thoroughbred racing since 1872, and this year we celebrate 150 years of that legacy. Fairgrounds is the third oldest track in the United States and is still continuing that legacy because of economic opportunities such as this conditional use permit. Fairgrounds is extremely proud of its history in New Orleans and values its role in the community. New Orleans faces enough challenges as it is, and creating an environment for business and investment should not be one of those challenges. This conditional use permit will allow the Fairgrounds to increase employment opportunities and generate increased local revenue. Next from Joe Rivera, 4508 Camp Street, in support. Good afternoon, my name is Joe Rivera and I live at 4508 Camp Street in New Orleans. I am the Director of Compliance at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. I am asking for your support and approval of their conditional use application at this time. The Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots looks at this conditional use permit as an opportunity to increase locally generated revenue and to create employment prospects for those in the surrounding areas and for our current team members. It gives the Fairgrounds the opportunity to become even more of a leader in the community and the city of New Orleans. For the last 150 years, the Fairgrounds has been an active member of the local community. Fairgrounds has been the host of the Red Dress Run and the Susan G. Komen sign-up events, contributing millions to City Park through taxes annually and constantly donating to the various neighborhood groups throughout the year, whether it be physical items or monetary donations. The Fairgrounds prides itself in saying yes and how can we help whenever asked, and hopes to be able to continue to do so. Next from Justin Lohr, 226 North Olympia Street, in support. I support this application. And next from Demetrius Williams, 10501 Curran Boulevard, Apartment 8E, in support. My name is Demetrius Williams and I live at 10501 Curran Boulevard, Apartment 8E, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I work at the Fairgrounds as a security supervisor. I'm asking for your support of the pending zoning application. I understand the needs of our local community because I am part of it. I live and work in New Orleans and I am proud to call it home. I know that New Orleans has challenges that need to be addressed, and creating an environment for business investment and growth should be one of them. Economic investment in New Orleans is a tool for increasing employment opportunities and generating increased local revenue. Fairgrounds contributes a significant amount of local taxes to New Orleans, and in addition funds up to $2 million annually to New Orleans City Park, up to $100,000 to the New Orleans Urban Tourism and Hospitality Training Fund, and up to $100,000 for beautification projects for New Orleans Neighborhoods Fund and Friends of Nord. Their presence has been a positive effect on New Orleans community. New Orleans is my home. It is where I live and work, and I support the zoning request, and I ask for your support as well. Next from Ernest G. Waits, 448 Julia Street, Unit 306, New Orleans. Good afternoon. My name is Ernie Waits, and I live at 448 Julia Street in New Orleans. I'm a food and beverage manager at the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. I am asking for your support of the pending zoning application. I've personally been a part of the Fairgrounds staff for many years, and I have seen with my own eyes how seriously the Fairgrounds takes its role in the community. The Fairgrounds staff treats our team members, guests, and neighbors like family, always ready to help in whatever way possible. The Fairgrounds staff is always coming up with new and exciting ideas on how to get our community members to come to the track to experience the 150 years of history we have here, whether it be thoroughbred, wiener dog, T-Rex, or ostrich races. The conditional use permit will allow the Fairgrounds to continue such events and allowing for more of a continuity or community that many have felt the need for, especially over the last 2 years within pandemic, making it hard for many to feel such connections locally. And the last comment is from Gregory Hicks, 3312 Delachase Street, in support. My name is Gregory Hicks, and I work at the Fairgrounds racecourse and slots. The Fairgrounds has offered horse racing in New Orleans for over 150 years and is proud of its history here. It has been a good community partner and is deeply involved in our local community. They support the many events in nearby neighborhoods. I work as a security officer and have worked here for 5 years. I live in New Orleans at 3312 Delachaise Street, New Orleans. And I know how much New Orleans means to the Fairgrounds and how the Fairgrounds supports New Orleans and its neighborhoods. Your approval of the zoning request before you will also increase jobs at the Fairgrounds, and that is something our community needs. That's the last comment.
Mr. B didn't like it either.
Thank you. The staff report recommends zoning docket for approval. So we're looking for a motion.
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Weber made a motion for approval of zoning docket 00422, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, we'll call the question. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Flick. Yes. Commissioner Sieg.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Wintry.
Yes.
Great, motion passes. Next up is subdivision docket is 17021. I don't think there are any public comments, is that correct?
Nope, no public comments.
Thank you.
Can you
sure.
refresh our memory which one that was?
Sure, this is the combining of the two properties. This is for tentative approval subject to 4 provisos.
Right. So I move approval of that. I thought it was very worthwhile that it sounds like it'll be renovated sensitively and in harmony with the neighborhood. And it doesn't make any sense not to combine them because the person's living on both of them and operating them as one anyway. And this will allow him to build over the lot line as he wants to. So there's no reason not to. So I move approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Stieg. Is there a second?
Commissioner Witry will second.
Who got there first?
I will defer to Commissioner Witry, but I did chime in as well.
Okay, Commissioner Wintry is seconded. So
I appreciate.
Commissioner,
I just wanted to say I appreciate you being mindful of the streetscape. That is a special pocket of uptown there, and any time that we can be appreciate the streetscape is really important for our historic fabric. So thank you for keeping that in mind.
I agree.
Thank you. Commissioner Stieg made a motion for approval of subdivision docket 17021, seconded by Commissioner Witry. And if there's no discussion, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Fleck, yes. Commissioner Stieg.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up is subdivision docket 17121.
All right, we do have one comment from Andronika Morris, 4640 South Carrollton Avenue. In support, Ganoha and Housing NOLA support this subdivision docket and implores the commission to support its approval. And that's the last comment.
This docket is for tentative approval subject to 3 provisos.
I have a question for the applicant.
Mrs. Labadie.
I'm just speaking of the streetscape. I'm just curious because you've got 2 homes on either side of the property, and then you're going to have, or you have a vacant lot. What is your plan then if you're going to use that for parking? I mean, the streetscape's going to look very differently then. Are you going to have some landscaping there, or what is sort of your idea to protect the streetscape so it doesn't just be some concrete?
So I actually had a conversation with the architect this morning, bringing this
lot was in addition to the master plan. So they are working on the landscape plan right now. But I know that is part of it. And I know they're looking at different options to keep the streetscape in mind. Perhaps it would be a drive-through. So there would be a drive lane and then just one line of parking rather than two, or to minimize the effect on the streetscape. But I will certainly relay those comments.
Yeah, in addition to the streetscape, the neighborhood fabric for those that live, we had the same issue, I believe last meeting with Warren Easton and some parking. I mean, just being very conscientious. I know you already are because you occupy the property, but I'm in agreement with Commissioner Wittry. There's some sensitivity about not just the aesthetic, but the utilization of that one lot in that area for parking. So as long as it's done mindfully, yeah.
To be clear, I think the master plan actually has, they have a parking lot on the other side of the block right now, off of Governor Nichols. And so this lot backs up to that part. And so they would connect. And so it's not just this one lot being in and out of a parking lot. It actually connects to the rest of the campus as another access. So also to kind of so that all the parking is not just on the Governor Nichols side of the campus, but more spread out. So yes, I think I'm responding to your question.
Yeah, and I know that there's already an abutment. I just think it is out of sequence with that other side of the lot. So just being sensitive and continuing that sensitivity for aesthetic and for neighborhood traffic flow and neighbor noise would be appropriate.
Thank you, commissioners. Are there any other questions for the applicant or a motion? This is set for tentative approval subject to 3 provisos.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve staff recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Weberg. Is there a second?
Brown will second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, then I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Weberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Wittry?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next is subdivision docket 172-21.
No public comments.
Thank you. And that is for tentative approval subject to 4 provisos.
Commissioner Wittry will second, or second. Commissioner Wittry will make a motion, and that is for subdivision docket 172-21, tentative approval with 4 provisos.
I'll second since Commissioner Wittry can't second her own motion.
There you go.
Really on top of it here.
Commissioner Wittry made a motion for approval of subdivision docket 172-21, seconded by Commissioner Weberg. If there's no discussion, I will call the question. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Weberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Wittry?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next is the reconsideration of subdivision docket 137-20, the Governor Nichols property.
No public comments.
Is there a motion?
Was this deferred from last meeting?
This was not. This was something that had gone to the commission about a year ago and required reconsideration because of a change to the proposal that's happened since then.
Okay, because I think we might have to do a motion we have to do two motions, a motion to reconsider well. this is a
Sorry,
weird-
it's not a reconsideration in the sense that they're reconsidering the previous vote. The regulations basically say if the commission approved something, then there's a change to the proposal, which is what's happened here. That change essentially requires a new action.
Gotcha. Okay, it's not traditional reconsideration. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we're just making one motion here.
Yeah, you're just gonna move to either approve or deny it.
And this was staff recommendation was for approval with 4 provisos.
Commissioner Witry will make a motion for, let's see, re-subdivision docket 137-20 for approval with 4 provisos.
Stiegel, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Stieg. Commissioner Witry made a motion for approval of the reconsideration of subdivision docket 137-20, seconded by Commissioner Stieg. If there's no discussion, hearing none, we'll call the question. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Flick, yes. Commissioner Stieg.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg.
Yes.
Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Motion passes. And next up is the street name change 001-22.
Again, as a reminder, the staff recommends modified approval, extending the street name change all the way to Sheffminter Highway and changing the name from Avenue to Boulevard, and also asks that you waive criteria 1 and 5. 1 is the length of time gentleman's been deceased, not quite 5 years, and 5 is for the extension to Sheffminter.
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
I have a question for staff before we get there. How many parcels?
Apologies.
No, that's okay. No problem. It was a short report and I didn't see there were no comments. I'm just curious about notice and how many parcels were affected and were people aware that this is actually taking place?
Yeah, this one, it's 191 lots that are be affected. This did follow the regular procedure. So there was a mail out to the property owners and residents of those lots. But we
Okay.
did not get any comments.
Just because we're on this subject, where are we on the honorary street naming study that we did and adopting it for cases like this?
That is something that has been implemented already. The city council at its last meeting, I think, just named a temporary or an honorary street name. I think this was suggested for this street as well years ago. But the family did want to pursue the official street name change.
Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is because this did not come to us through the Street Naming Commission, and it is a departure from our policy requiring the waivers. So I wondered whether we had explored the avenue of honorary rather than changing the map of the city, because it's a long stretch with lots of parcels. So anyway, okay, thank you.
Yeah, on a staff level, we did recommend that to Councilmember Brissett a few years ago.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Witry will second this.
Thank you. Commissioner Weber made a motion for modified approval of the street name change 00121, seconded by Commissioner Witry. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Flick, yes. Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. I don't think Miss Jean is on the line. We're gonna move now to the deferral for zoning docket 10821. Or can we just lump that in with the other deferrals that we're gonna vote on?
Let's take that one separately because it wasn't an administrative deferral. It's something that was deferred from a previous meeting.
The zoning docket 10821. What was the
I'll make
date
a
for
motion.
deferral?
February 8th.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to defer zoning docket 10821 to February 8th.
Second, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you. Commissioner Witry made a motion for deferral for subdivision docket 10821 to February 8th, seconded by Commissioner Stewart. If there's no discussion, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleck, yes. Commissioner Sieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Motion passes. And then our last order of business is deferral for zoning docket 00522, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's it. To a future meeting.
Yeah, that's February 8th.
Thank you. To the February 8th meeting. A motion for deferral.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for deferral for all of the items till the February 8th.
Thank you.
Do you want me to read that out, or since you did, we're straight there?
We're good.
Cool.
Looking for a second.
Second, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Witry made a motion for deferral from the previously named zoning dockets to the February 8th meeting, seconded by Commissioner Stewart. If there's no comments or discussion, I'll call the question. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleck, yes. Commissioner Sieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Weidberg,
Yes.
Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Excellent. Motion passes. And I think that's it for today. So we'll looking for a motion for adjournment.
Move for adjournment at 3:29.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
Commissioner Witry or Commissioner Steed. Thank you so much. All in favor for adjourning these meeting. Thank you.
Good to see you.